yeah, Sammy, almost right on cue. Here we go. Social commentary from Michael. Social commentary from Michael. So I went down today into very dangerous territory for a woke mind virus resistance member. So I went down to Northcote way, and as expected, a couple of very confusing things happened. I went down to Northcote and I walked past. No, it wasn't Dusty Martin wannabe. It wasn't a 6-year-old lady looking like she was trying to emulate a 9-year-old boy trying to emulate Dusty Martin with the first hairdo. No, this one looked more like, say, a 16-year-old boy trying to emulate Louis Theroux. But still, I don't know what she does in the bedroom. We'll just call her Little Louie. So there's Little Louie walking along in her brown earthy wear and her desert boots and looking all suave, strolling down High Street, the trendy High Street, too trendy for a McDonald's, down High Street, Northcote. And as she walked past me, Mr. John Sammy Newman, I kid you not, she went, "Dog," under her breath, "Dog." And I yelled out, "Well, that's not very inclusive or tolerant." They kept on walking, laughing. And there you have it, Mr. John Sammy Newman. That is pretty much at the heart of what we're dealing with here in woke Cretinville, shithole, cesspit, organised crime-riddled cesspit, because of little Dusties, little Louie's there, little Louie infiltrating our every orifice, or because you're like a bit of a leader of the, Victorian social set. So basically every orifice of yours has been infiltrated by little Louies and little Dusties. And then what happens, Mr. John Sammy Newman? Then comes along Big Johnnies and even bigger Micks, for example, who are going to do business with little... Could you imagine, honestly, with all the respect in the world to the John Seckers and Mick Gattos, could you honestly imagine little Louie and little Dusty there going toe-to-toe with Mick Gatto in the board meeting room, about to cut some deals out there, Mr. John Sammy Newman? Seriously, could you? And that's what we're dealing with. And I am not for 1 second implying Mick Gatto or John Seck or any of them have done anything wrong personally, bar what I said a long time ago. All they've done is get paid. If little Dusty and little Louie are too woke, then yeah, okay, what's that, Mick? Oh, you need some indigenous wattle bushes, do you? How much are they? What's that? $4,900 per plant. Okay, that sounds like a pretty good price. What do you think, little Dusty? Good price, is it? Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll get you an order number, Mick. No problem. Just as long as it's definitely going to have like that LGBTQI flag, and it's definitely going to have like the indigenous flag. Is that correct? Okay, no problem. Yeah, we'll get you an order number tomorrow. No problem. And that is what we're dealing with. But it got corrupt. It's corrupted. As in the government turned a blind eye. Once things started getting out of hand, 10 years ago we're talking. Once things started getting out of hand, as is human nature, and people, it's just human nature. You give, people are going to take. It's just the way it is. You can't begrudge it. It's just the way it is. But what you can begrudge is poor leadership. You can begrudge and be angry at politicians who could see that 10 years ago. They could see it. I mean, we could hear in prison in 2015, we could hear the lower ranked prison officers complaining. I mean, I'm talking about a rumour going around all the industries about the higher ranked, those in the right position, plundering the taxpayer's purse in overpriced repair bill jobs and possibly to family members. I'm not exactly sure, but you'd have to ask them if you could get an investigation going. But the lower ranked prison officers complaining of how the higher, those in the right position, were literally plundering the Victorian taxpayer through those things. That was 2016, 2015. So it was no secret. This is we've had 10 years minimum of the Jacinta Allens looking the other way. It was no secret. In 2016, it was, the prison system was awash with all the inmates trying their level best to get out to traffic controller jobs or to get out to one job or another because they knew a bloke who knew a bloke on the CFMEU. It was no secret, and I'm not begrudging them one bit. But if your politicians can't nip that in the bud 10, 11 years ago, all out of votes, all because, gee, what hope? What hope? And I've said this before too, and I'll say it again. If you've got a law and order system going, oh, he's a dog. See that guy? That guy was interviewed by Victoria Police. That makes him a dog. Dog. I mean, you got Buckley's chance. Or no, not Buckley's chance. You have a lot of corruption afoot if your law and order system, your prison, is calling people dogs for being interviewed in relation to a criminal matter anybody got into. It doesn't matter whether it's a GI employed prison officer, a G4S employed prison officer, a PSO, a police officer. It doesn't matter. There's not a two-tier law, one law for them, one law for them. Oh, hang on, that guy, his bag's okay, he's with us, that one, yeah. No, it's all right, don't worry, I'll handle it. Fuck off. Seriously, what more can you say but fuck off? Now, for those of you who think my words fall on empty ears, let me just remind you of it. Let me have a bit of a gloat. I can't help it, sorry. After I released my book, coincidentally, when I was still about 1 or 2 weeks away from starting my diploma in information technology, and I was still watching Pappas, that left-wing puppet Pappas, choking on her words, trying to look at me without that look of he knows how disgusting we are. Oh, he knows. Look, you can see her looking at me like this, just this look in her eye, yeah, we're actually, Anyway, when I was in that stage, I released my book hurriedly. I will revisit the book and I will re-edit it, and I will take a lot of the rantiness out of it, and I will put a whole heap more back in it, I promise you. But I wrote that book for a reason, and I published it quickly for a reason. And that reason manifested itself, I believe, I can't prove this because it's too corrupt. The Victorian state government is too corrupt. They won't investigate things properly. So anyway, because it just keeps digging. Yeah, it. Anyway, so what ends up happening was I released that book. Within 10 days, Mr. John Sammy Newman, Sam's Mailbag, within 10 days, not even possibly, of my book going public, bang, I pressed bang on a hacked computer, clearly hacked computer, if not a hacked computer, bang, upload onto Amazon. Within 10 days of that, we're getting some weird story of the police chief commissioner having a backflip move, the unions. See how they control the unions? How the heck has a homeless bum heroin addict learnt this? How damaged is our government? I spin my head every second day on this. How the heck has a homeless heroin addict bum, petty criminal, shop theft, minor fraudster, just trying to feed, but minor drug dealer, if you could even call it drug dealing, just trying to feed my dirty, rotten heroin habit when I was homeless often and whatnot. How the heck have I come anywhere near being privy to this? I'll tell you how, because the state is that corrupt. What happens is paranoia does more damage often than actually than the actual crime, which is why they use it as a tactic to expose murderers. They'll try and make a person paranoid so that they'll go and shift bodies or take them to evidence. That is a homicide investigator's trick. Hence things like the Greg Lynn, oh yeah, I knew you were onto me when people kept coming up to me saying, feel like you're on the Truman Show. That's trying to make him paranoid, so he'll slip up and take them to a body or take them to a gun or take them, you know, maybe move a bag or whatnot. So they make them paranoid, make a suspect paranoid. It costs a lot of money too. They're top-end investigations that warrant this type of thing. So they will try and make you paranoid so you slip up. My point being, they heard me speaking clearly when they came a knocking because of the Devon Woodbourne incident, and me being a bit of a smart ass, I taunted them, baited them with little, you know, like, the corruption here, and oh gee, that Paul Dale, and oh, what do you think? You think they set him up? You know, just stuff like that. Well, their paranoia kicked in so hard, Mr. John Sammy Newman, they pulled out all the stops until a dirty, rotten bum, ex-heroin addict, petty criminal to feed himself mostly, caused them that much trouble. They're making moves 10 days after I released my book. We're getting this weird move where the unions have voted and there's a no confidence motion in. You tell me what really happened. Tell me what really happened, you reckon? You reckon there was a quiet conversation that, listen, I'm telling you, if this dickhead does what I think he's going to do, you're going, Shane. I'm not wearing it. I'm not wearing it, Shane. Shane, I've got enough troubles with this bloody John Setka. If this dickhead goes public with all this corruption, you're wearing it, not me. What do you reckon? You reckon? Or you reckon just coincidence? There'll be a lot of bloody coincidence. Lot of coincidences around Michael. You know Michael?